Welcome back. First, I'm going to be working with the base of our jumpsuit, and I'll be taking the length. The half length is 15 inches, while the total length is 54 inches. So here, from this edge, is my 15 inches because it's the half length that will be cutting separately. So from the 15, I have my full length, 54 inches, and I added extra 2 inches to make it 56 inches. Here's the length of my 56 inches. Now, the first thing we need to consider on our trouser that we'll be working with is from the half length. Now, like I said, the half length is 15 inches, and my trouser length, my normal basic trouser length, starts from the waist. So I need to get the distance between the half length and the waist measurement in order to know where my trouser will start from. So the distance between my half length and the waist is 5 inches. So this is my 5 inches, and I made it 5.5 inches because of my joining here. So here now is a distance between the half length and my waist. So here is the distance between the half length and the waist. Now we're going to focus on this. The first thing we need to get is the crotch length. And to determine that, we're going to use the hip measurements divided by 4 plus 1. Hip 36 divided by 4 plus 1 will give us 10 inches. So this is my crotch length, 10 inches. Also, we need to get a ease. The ease is going to allow us separate her leg, move easily, jump and all that. So for the ease, depending on the size, you can use 2.5 inches, 3 inches, 3.5 inches, or even 4 inches if the person is of a big size. I am going to work with 3 inches. This is my measurement, and it's a basic measurement. So I'll be working with 3 inches. Now, our ease is 3 inches. That's what we'll be working with. Our crotch length is 10 inches. So from this waist now, here is our waist. Remember, we are going to be taking the hip measurement, and hip measurement is 36. So 36 plus 4 divided by 4. So that's what we'll be working with. 36 plus 4 divided by 4 will give us 10 inches. So from the waist, I'll be taking 10 inches. 10 inches, 10 inches, 10 inches. And since this is my crotch length, on the crotch point, our ease of 3 inches is going to take effect. So instead of the normal 10 inches, it will become 13 inches. So we have our 13 inches here. Now, because we are taking the hip measurement here, we are still going to continue that to the half length. So our 10 inches continues like that. 10, 10. Now, after our crotch length, we are going to take the upper thigh measurements. Because it's a palazzo trouser, I am going to maintain that the upper thigh measurements, the +2, it is +2 now because it is just one leg. So the upper thigh is 22 inches. +2 divided by 2 will give us 12 inches. That's +2 divided by 2 is because it is just each leg will be taken. So here is my 12 inches. At the base, remember it's a palazzo trouser, so we do not need to take the lower thigh and the ankle measurement. Here at the base, I can still decide to maintain my 12 inches, which is the upper thigh measurement. And if you don't want something as wide as that, you can reduce. So I reduced mine to 10 inches. So here is my 10 inches. What we are going to do now first is to connect these points. So here, to make it easy for us to get the curve, we're going to measure 1.5 inches. So that from this point, I can easily curve just like this, straight up. Now, the next thing we're going to do from here is to measure from this, from the hip measurement. We're going to measure backward. So remember, this is from the 15 inches, which is the under bust circumference measurement, plus 4 divided by 4. The under bust circumference 26 plus 4 divided by 4 is 7.5. And the waist measurement plus 4 divided by 4 is 8 inches. Now, we are going to connect this to, because this is the waist and the distance between the waist and the hip is about 6 inches. That's for me. Yours can differ. So measurements differ. So we're going to be connecting this like this. You can see the way I have just connected mine from the under bust circumference to the waist and to the hip, then straight down. Then another thing you can decide to do is, if you want it to come in from your upper thigh, these are upper thigh measurements, you can come in by 0.5 inch, 0.5, and then at the base you can decide to come in by 1 inch, just like this. And connecting it from the hip to my 0.5 inches goes like this. And from the 0.5 inches to my 1 inch does, yeah, just like this. Now, because we have brought in 0.5 and 1 inch from this point, I am going to return it here. So I'm going to come out by 0.5 and I am going to come out by 1 inch. So it's either you cut it straight down and you're good, or you come in by this side. By coming in, it is just, you know, at times we can decide to pencil in our pencil skirts. Remember our basic skirt, whereby you have this particular shape. So it's your choice if you want it to come in just like this, to pencil it in. So the same thing applies to this. If you want it to come in by the side, you can do this. And if you want it just straight down, you can leave it the way it was. So from here now, we are going to just connect this back to our normal measurements like this. Then from here, straight down. So we are going to cancel this, and then we are going to cut. So we can see the outcome from the under bust circumference, the waist, the hip, and then the upper thigh to the base of our trouser. So I'm going to use this to cut the front. So I'll be cutting front. That's 2 of this is what I'll be cutting. Okay, so we have cut for the front, and to cut for the back, we're also going to place our pattern. But the only difference here is at the crotch area, I am going to measure 1 inch for sit, you know, when you sit and you do not want your trousers so tight that you'll be uncomfortable. So I have my 1 inch all the way to the crotch point. Then from there, I'm going to connect back to my main measurements, just like this. And I am going to cut straight up. So for the front and for the back, we are still cutting, but let me quickly tell us what we're going to do. I am going to join this to this point. That's for the front. And for the back, I am going to, because 15 inches is the half length and my zipper length is about 24 inches. So I'm going to start joining from here, and I am going to stop my joining at this point so that I can have this opening at the back. That's what I'll be doing to this. Now from here, this is the front. I am going to take 2 inches in. Now this depends on your choice and the design of pockets that you want for your trouser. Okay, so I took in 2 inches and the length I'm working with 7 inches, and I am going to just slant like this. Now your pocket size can be 14 inches by 14. That's when you fold into 2. You have here, and I have 6.5 inches by 13. That's 13 by 13 inches that I'm working with. And whatever I have cut here, I am going to do the same on one side of my pockets. So if you want to cut your pockets like mine, this is 6.5 by 26. That's 13 inches by the time I fold into 2. So you can open it up like this in order to cut it out. Whatever shape you have here, you're going to cut out the same thing on the pockets. You can work with 14 by 14, 13 by 13, or 12 by 12. It depends on your choice. So I'm cutting out this shape both on the fabric and on the pockets. Now, from what I have here, by the time I join this, that's the front now. By the time I join this together, I am still going to have this showing on here, and this is how it's going to come out, so that by the time I join the back is going to come like this, and I'll join it straight down. So it's going to come out in this manner. So we can see this is going to be the end result. All right, so that's for the pockets. What I am going to do now is to place my pocket on my fabric, and I am going to join it just to this point. I'll turn it inside just the way I have explained, so that I'll place the back and then join it by the side. Whatever I've done here, I'll repeat the same on this other side. So now we're going to move to cutting the half lengths. Now we're working on the half length. To fold my pattern, I use the bust circumference measurements plus 8 inches divided by 4. Plus 8 inches divided by 4 is same as your bust circumference measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches, which is serve as a allowance. Now Here is my measurement, 36 plus 8 divided by 4 is 11 inches. And because it's a princess dart bustier, and for every bustier we need to add extra 2 inches, so I folded 13 inches. Now, if you are conversant with my tutorials, you should know how to go about this, cutting your princess dart bustier, because I have different tutorials on how to cut princess dart bustier, be it gown or blouse. So you can search my tutorials on that to go to find your way through this. But still, I am going to explain. So let's move on. We have the half length of 15 inches. So here I measured 16 inches. The underbust length is 12.5 inches. And of course, our armhole length is 8.5 inches. Now, I am not going to add extra 1 inch to this, and that's because it's a sleeveless jumpsuit. So I will not be adding any sleeve to this. Now, the first thing we are going to do is to hide the extra 2 inches that we added. So I have measured my 2 inches. Here is my 2 inches. And I am going to hide it first. So that from here now we can take our basic measurements. We have the shoulder divided by 2, 7 inches. Shoulder is 14, divided by 2 is 7 inches. Here is my 7 inches. But because it's a sleeveless dress, like I say, I am going to come in by 1 inch. The bust circumference measurement plus 8 divided by 4, 11 inches. And this is my underbust length, so I'm going to take the underbust circumference measurement from here, and plus 8 divided by 4 is 9.5 inches. So I am going to connect like this, and from the armhole you can bring it straight down, then find your way. But remember, I said it's a sleeveless top, so it is not necessary you come in by 1 inch. Okay, let me put that straight. It is not a must that you come in by 1 inch. That's if you do not want the whole fabric to cover the shoulder, you can come in by 1 inch. And if you want to leave it this way, you can still go ahead with this, and you can come in by 0.5, you can come in by 1 inch. It's your choice anyways. So I am going to connect this to get my armhole. Now let us cut this out before cutting out our bustier. First, we're going to unfold the 2 inches, and we are going to bring out our princess dart measurement based on your bust span. That's your nipple to nipple measurement. And to do that, for this particular measurement, it is 3.5 inches. Here is my 3.5 inches coming all the way to the bust point. And on the armhole, you can decide to measure 3, 3.5, 4, or 4.5, or even 5 inches, depending on what you want. So I'm going with 4 inches. So from this 4 inches, now I'm going to connect in order to get my princess dart, just like this, straight down. Now, here's my underbust length, and the distance between the underbust and the nipple point is 3 inches. You need to get that. Here is my 3 inches. So what I'm going to measure from here, that's from this, my princess dart line, is 1.5 inches, which is going to stop at the underbust, my 1.5 inches. And here I am on the nipple point, I'm going to take 0.5. While on the armhole, I am going to take 1 inch. So here is my 1 inch. To connect my points from the underbust, I'm coming to the nipple point like this. And then from my 1 inch, I'm also coming to the nipple point just like this. Now, these 2 lines is what I'll be cutting. in order to have a princess bustier. Then the neckline, you can go with any neck design of your choice. I'll be working with the width of 2.5 inches and the depth of 3 inches. That's because I'll still be adding a collar to mine. If you do not want the collar, you can go with any neck design of your choice. Now, from this pattern, to cut out the back, I am just going to place this fabric the way it is, since we'll be needing a zipper allowance for the back, so that the 2 inches can serve as a zipper allowance. And if you want it to be 1 inch or 1.5, you can reduce it to that. So just place your pattern to cut it out, to cut out what you have here for the back pattern, and you can go with any neck design of your choice. And also don't forget to take your 1 inch shoulder slope. So we're going to cut now. So I'll be placing this to cut out my fabric. Alright, so the half length for the front is ready, and what I'm going to do is I'm first going to iron my interface. I'll be using a soft wadding. You can either use a soft wadding, stay, paper stay, BFF, depending on your choice. So I am going to iron my interface on it, and I am going to cut out the lining for each of this piece. I'm going to join the fabric, and I'm also going to join the lining before turning the sides with my lining. That's for the front. After that, I am going to, I already told us how to join the pockets, which is, joining from here. Then I'll turn it inside in order to have this shape. So I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to do the same to the other side of the trouser, and I'll join the half length for the front together with the base. That's for the front. Now moving to the back, I have my back. I already explained to us how to cut that, and here I have my same measurement, 2.5 inches, and the depth of 1 inch. So here is the back. I am just going to hold my straight dart of 4 inches, and I'll be attaching this. That's the half length for this to this side, and the half length of this to this side. Then I'll fix my zipper in between. So joining it together, I'll come back to show us how to do that, and also how to close the base of our trouser. All right, like I told us, I have joined and brought out the shape. So we are left with the base now. What I'm going to do from here is to turn. Remember, we added extra inches for folding, so I'm going to fold it inside, and I am going to take my measurement. That's the 10 inches I'm going to measure, and the upper thigh, which is 22 inches, I'm going to take from this point. So I'm going to join all the way to this point. Then from here, I'm going to continue to the other side of our jumpsuit. So after we have done that, we'll be left with the neck. And like I told us, you can go with any neck design of your choice. But I am going to attach my collar, that's an office collar, to this. So to do that, I am going to start by joining from inside, and I'm going to, join it so that it will lay on the outer part of the dress. Joint this. The first thing is you're going to take the measurements from the back round to the other end, and you divide it by 2, so that one will be on the right hand side and the other will be on the left hand side. I have joined mine, and there are 2 ways with which we can join our collar. So first, let me explain the cutting. Whatever your measurement is, mine is 17 inches. To fold, I measured 4 inches. So the 17 inches divided by 2 will give us 8.5 inches. So here I have 9 inches, 9.5 inches, and here I have 10.5 inches. That's plus 1 inch. So I am going to cut 2 of this. The 10.5 inches will be at the edge. So first, this is my 10.5 inches, and the width is 4 inches. Now I'm going to fold into 2 so that I can cut the 9 inches, the 9.5 inches at the base. That's about 4.75, and I am going to slant from this point to the edge of my 10.5 inches. So now I also attached my interface. Don't forget, and you can as well reduce the width from, mine is 4, you can reduce to 3.5 or even 3 inches. So we're going to attach a gum stay in between the fabric, and after that you're going to join the 2 edges. After joining, we're going to start by joining 1. You're going to start from inside, just like this. You're going to take it round on the inside, and then you do the same thing to the other side. So we need 2 of this, 1 on the right and 1 on the left hand side. So you're going to join wherever this stops, just sewn from the inside. So from wherever this stop, you're going to start the second one from that same point to join to the other side. Now after that, I have joined mine just the way it is. So after joining from inside, remember to weave, and we're going to top stitch not on the collar but on the main fabric. So we're going to top stitch on that. Now the second method is, you can decide to start, let me hide this first. So you can pick one of the collar. You're going to join from outside, just one side of the collar. You're going to start joining from the outside, just like this. Then we'll come back to top stitch on the inside. Just fold the edge and top stitch just like this on the inside. So that's the second method. So whichever method you choose to go with, you can do that. Whatever you do to the right, you're going to do the same to the left. First joining on the outside, then top stitching on the inside. So you can go with any method of your choice. I am done with mine, and this is the end result of my collar. So that will be all for this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe and also click the bell beside your subscribe button.